What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Respect the Game podcast. My name is Edward, named after a great man, that being my pops. Shout out to my mama and my granny for raising me too. Please make sure you go follow at Emax Stats for all your up-to-date high school and pro collegiate sports coverage. I think I twisted that up some kind of way, but it's still good. We're gonna live forever. Um, we'll keep you up to date on all that is going on in the beautiful sports world. Yeah, man. And what is a podcast without your brethren?
Man, the shiniest one shine or is on Twitter, Instagram, Cash App, you name it, man. Coming to a digital wallet near you. Let's go.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It looked like everyone wanted to interrupt my introduction yet again. It happens all the time, but it's okay. I am the one and only, you know me. Sedacious Xavier Miles. Please go follow me on Instagram at I am SEDATAIOUS. Let's get it.
Nah, I wasn't gonna interrupt you. It was just that awkward space where Black Peace is supposed to be. So I was about to speak on his behalf, but you had already started talking, so I was just like, okay, all right.
I feel that he should have been here to introduce himself.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all go follow our brother Black Peace. He's not in the building tonight, but yeah, man. Uh looking forward to a great episode, man. For those who are listening and probably like, yo, like what's been going on or whatever, uploaded our first episode. I uploaded an old episode. Yeah, our first episode of the new year. I finally edited today and we shot that like 3 weeks ago. So I got two more, but I get us back on track. Um but it felt good when I uploaded it today. It was just like, man, yeah, this is what I do it for, to be able to make this content with my brothers and get out to the people. So yeah, slow start to the year, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. We're gonna get that content coming to you very soon, back on all of our social medias and as well as uploading on a consistent basis through YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. Uh, but yeah, man, let's get straight into it. Kyrie Irving out for the rest of the season with the torn ACL. This is coming after Anthony Davis has been injured after his first game with the Dallas Mavericks, and this is also happening after the Dallas Mavericks chose to trade away Luka Doncic. Um, there may or may not be a deep dive to this Dallas Mavericks conversation with Kyrie Irving being out for the rest of the season. I think it's pretty obvious that I know you're not supposed to curse like so early into the show on YouTube to try to monetize, but with Kyrie Irving being out for the rest of the season, the Dallas Mavericks is what the dictionary likes to describe as fucked. um, but outside of that deep dive, what are y'all takeaways? Before I could go into more, what are y'all takeaways from this catastrophe of the Dallas Mavericks now?
Hey, Fry.
Deep fried Kentucky. Uh, Nico Harrison probably does need 24-hour security now. Sad to say that, right? I don't wish that on any brother to the people. But same guy who butchered Steph Curry's name in the Nike um, recruiting pitch to Steph and, lost out. So he is very familiar with fumbling generational talent from a bevy of different organizations. So it's just sad, man. Obviously, on this podcast, we love and celebrate Kyrie Irving as being um, probably the most skilled player in NBA history. Um, in my books, a top seven point guard all time. That's just my books. But just sad, man. Prayers out to Kyrie. Hopefully he definitely, recovers quickly.
Nico Harrison. This is how I feel about Nico Harrison. Um, and as it relates to everything that's transpired from trading away Luka to now what's unfortunately happened to Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. For all the conspiracy theorists out there, grab your notebook. Um, it is clear to me now that Nico Harrison made a deal with the devil.
Yo,
Nico Harrison clearly made a deal with the devil and trading away Luka Doncic.
usually niggas get some perks out of that deal. Nigga ain't getting no. He got screwed, chopped and screwed. Shout out to T-Pain.
ISO, just hear me out. Just hear me out. It's clear to me that, like I say, Nico Harrison made a deal with the devil as it relates to trading away Luka Doncic. Face value, surface value, you may say it don't look like he's benefited much of any. But who's to say there wasn't a deal under the table that none of us were supposed to know about for him to make that trade to begin with? That being said, as you know, sometimes when you make deals with the devil, it seems to be sweet at first, but eventually, in some shape or form, you have to pay for whatever said deal is. Um, and with that being the case, though initially it may have seemed like a sweet deal for Nico Harrison, and whatever deal he made with the devil, that deal has now fallen apart, unfortunately, at the expense of Anthony Davis and especially Kyrie Irving. So, again, conspiracy theorists out there, we need to pay extremely close attention to Nico Harrison and what he's doing outside of the Dallas Mavericks facility. Y'all need to hire up the president, the owners. Y'all need to keep track of his whereabouts. Y'all need to gather his emails, his phones, whatever the case may be, because it is evidently clear the decisions that he has made have all come to ruin, and it is not by coincidence that everything has transpired since he traded away Luka. And we'll unpack this in the future as more details and data are revealed on what Nico Harrison got in exchange for trading away Luka Doncic.
Right. It's clear he sold his soul to the devil. That's funny.
Bro, he sold something. I don't know what it is yet, but he sold something. So he made
I
a
know
deal
who
with it.
sold some. Looked like Rob Palinka looking like Cassidy from '05 because he done sold salt to a slug, raid to a bug. He a hustler, homie. Um, man.
uh, boy, so water to a well, huh?
But say, yeah, the car run good, right? Yeah, I mean, you gotta let the transmission a little time, little alternator issue, but other than that, man, she run good.
Man. Um
Nigga said, bet, I'll take it.
worst move, worst GM decision if you had to choose between the two. Nico Harrison.
Bill O'Brien.
No. Nico Harrison trading away Luka or Joe Shane trading away, or not even trading away, letting walk, not getting no value for Saquon Barkley. Which was the worst decision? Do y'all feel like?
Um, wow. I'd say the ramifications of both were massively monumental. Hindsight, I think long term, I think the Mavericks will greatly regret the Luka trade. Looking back, especially, I don't even know if it's long term, right? Kyrie just tore his ACL, and
That's
Anthony Davis is
now.
probably about to shut it down for the year. So it all is contingent upon the Lakers' success in the postseason. If the Lakers make it to the finals, the Mavericks will have a organizational decision to make. And I think Nico Harrison could be on the chopping block rather immediately. Um, but I don't know how you could even let somebody go from making your organization or undergoing a facelift of that magnitude. So you probably have to let him see it through at least another year, just due to the Kyrie Irving injury. But man, I think long term, the answer is the Mavericks. Short term,
The Mavericks.
you short term probably the Mavericks too. But I mean, I got the Giants as a close second because nobody saw the Giants as contenders, right? So losing Saquon, granted, you did lose the heart and soul of your team in regards to the offensive component. Um, but Giants are a ways away from contending for a Super Bowl. So in that regard, the Mavs literally, quite literally, just went to the finals, and you get rid of the best player on the team because you think he's chubby and he drinks beers and he smokes hookah from time to time, and you don't think he takes care of his conditioning as seriously as he should. All fixable problems, but hey,
Yeah. Who you have worst decision, Dacius?
Um, I kind of agree with Shot Hard, but then he said something at the end that kind of made me tip the scale back towards the Mavericks, because they were in the finals, so
Oh,
they were kind of at the height, and then you kind of trade away the reason you got there, and I'm really have to say the Mavericks at the, in the end because though Philadelphia just won the championship, the Giants, right? The Giants would have just wasted Saquon for another 2, 3 years,
right.
and he probably got nothing out of it. So yeah, no, you know what I
Definitely
mean?
when they got paid. Shout out to Saquon for just getting paid today. Pop Trunk Wave, the most lucrative contract for a running back in NFL history, with an average salary of over 20 million a year on a 2-year extension, 2 years over 41 million, 36 million guaranteed, all at signing. So the nigga just got 36 million today. Shout out to Saquon, man. Dude is on a
that's
legendary run. Shout out to the running backs out there.
yeah,
We
that's a
still alive,
great
well, baby. We still fighting.
yeah, no, that's a great trajectory for running backs. I know there was a meeting recently. I don't know if it was this current off season or last off season where all the running backs came together and they were just like, "Hey, we need to work together to like start to turn this cap space and these cap dollars back in our favor as they trying to like devalue us." And so,
And Saquon said, I bet.
say less.
I got us.
Yeah, so I mean now you got players like I don't know if James Cook is like up for like a contract, but like players like young, running backs are James Cook and so on and so forth. I'm not sure how much the Texans paid what you call it, signing him from the Bengals. Um but uh but yeah, nah, Saquon definitely set the quarterbacks up for a great trajectory, man. Um yeah. I had one more thing I had want to say. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Nico. Yeah, man. Nico, the thing that's like is that irritates me about Nico Harrison is that a lot of times the conversations can be you have certain positions that like black coaches or black general managers or whatever aren't given the same opportunities as their white counterparts. Here you have a black dude given opportunity to manage and help cultivate around a legendary player and Luka Doncic, and you trade him away. It's like we can't feel sorry for you. And then you fumble in the bag so much to a degree where you may have people looking at other people who look just like you, looking at them crazy when it comes down the pipeline for them to get an opportunity. Like, I don't know if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Last brother we picked up. traded away a franchise Hall of Famer and Luka Doncic. So yeah, Nico Harrison, like you said, is like fumbling Stephen Curry. Like Nico Harrison, bro,
He ain't
he
he
a
ain't
tra
no good.
he's a travesty to the game.
Boy, low down, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah. All right. Moving
Enough of
on.
that bum.
Speaking about Luka going to the Lakers, the Oklahoma City Thunder are a ways ahead, maybe like 10, 11 games, I believe, at the number one spot. So I don't think it's likely that the Lakers will catch them. Uh,
We'll need to.
but what percentage of chance do y'all give Bron to possibly pull out the MVP this season?
Oh, they hate this nigga. They will never give it to him. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's clear agenda has been made. They're like, all right, nigga, you got enough of them. Lord forbid you get closer to this nigga, Michael Jordan. We shutting that down. But if you look at the numbers, comparatively speaking, and I think Kendrick Perkins on ESPN made a huge point this morning that I actually had been thinking about prior to him saying it is LeBron James is the top three VP candidate as it currently stands today. Why, Yax? Well, if you look at the Lakers and just in a small sample size of 20 plus games post AD trade, the Lakers now sit at the number two seed in the West, a stacked Western Conference at that. And if you look at his numbers, comparatively speaking, from his last MVP years, the numbers are better on better percentage shooting from the field and from the three. So if you couple that with, oh, the NBA doesn't push narratives, to that I say bullshit. And SGA, Shea Gilgis, Alexander. And I want to say this. I don't believe LeBron should win it this year. I definitely think Shea is deserving. 450 pointers this year, man. And I think four within the last 20 something games is kind of nuts. Um, Even though he just went for 50 against my Rockets. Not said to say, not, just he has his team offensively, and then I think he's second in the league in steals. And then the Thunder just holistically as a team, I think they're leading in almost every single defensive category, while still holding the number one seed, and him being the leading scorer in the league on the number one team as a lead guard. I think that's gonna warrant first place MVP votes, but um, I definitely, hell, I might even have LeBron second. I think what he's doing, and I love Jokic, right? But Jokic's individual success this year hasn't really correlated into a lot of team success, which is like Isaac, they still top five in the West. I get it. However, LeBron James, from the expectations that they had, oh, they don't have a big, so this is really a great move for the future, not really a now move. It's looking like a future move and a now move. And if LeBron James doesn't win MVP, I'm okay with that. But I'll say this: I believe JJ Redick deserves Coach of the Year. My humble opinion. Um, However, I do believe JB Bickerstaff. Hold on, walk with me. I do believe JB Bickerstaff, the job that he's done in turning around the Pistons, is probably gonna win it, right? And rightfully so, because the Pistons are a playoff team this year, and it looks like they're actually a palatably functioning franchise with competence. So I think JJ Redick is in the running for Coach of the Year, maybe a top two candidate, and then I have Bron as a top three MVP candidate. Man, all I'm gonna say is this: Lakers are gonna be a tough out in the playoffs, man. You don't want to see Luke and LeBron coming at you for 7 games. Pause. If anybody was gonna take that a certain way, I don't know. We crazy. Never be too prepared.
The only thing that I utterly disagree with that you said is I'm not giving JJ Redick no consideration for Coach of the Year. I am not giving you credit for finding a way to look great as a team because you got LeBron James and Luka Doncic.
I give LeBron number two. Runner up.
Got you, got you. Uh, where Where did you want to take the conversation, Sedacious, with the Oscars recently being this past weekend?
Yes, I want to say this, and I typically try my best not to curse on the podcast, but I'm a deliberately curse on the podcast right now. When I say, uh, I used to be a fan. I used to be a fan. I used to watch the late night show, and I thought Buddy was entertaining. But now, how I feel wholeheartedly is fuck Conan O'Brien and anyone like him. Uh, it's one thing for two niggas to be fighting. It's another thing
Whoa.
for it's one thing for two niggas to be fighting. It's another thing for a white boy to stand on the side and make fun of the two niggas fighting. That will never go. So I don't even want to get into none of that extra shit that niggas probably don't want to get into. It is what it is.
No, I
But it's
missed
exactly
that.
how I feel, and I'm standing on this. Two
No,
niggas
no, no,
can
no.
fight.
It definitely, and I will actually side with Sedacious on this. I do think it's getting out of hand a little bit when it's almost like, and I think this is, and I'm gonna tread lightly when I say this. People of other cultures and other creeds. I won't say a specific one, but you can put your mind to it. A certain creed of people has made it their business throughout the history of time while kicking people while they've been down, right? All in efforts of, oh, we're just having fun and poking around, but it's really sadistic and it's really evil at its
It's
root.
really reverse racism for real.
Oh, come on. And to have Conan O'Brien quite literally call Drake a pedophile on the Oscars, and he didn't call him one, but he
He
referenced
alluded to
Kendrick.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he alluded to it, right, and was like,
He
Don't
used
worry,
one nigga
I'm
to
lawyered up."
disrespect the other nigga.
Right? But it's like, I kind of see it as, oh, look at these two niggas fighting. Let me jump in here. Yeah. And yeah, the other nigga who isn't our favorite anymore, yeah, he's a
Yeah.
pedophile. You know what I mean? Because it's like, Kendrick can handle his own slack, man. He can handle his own business. He don't need you jumping in and getting a cheap
No.
shot in while he down, right? And I kind of side with Sedacious on that one, man, because
You
you
love
ain't
the
got to be a
culture,
fan.
fine. You wanna be a part of the culture, fine. Uh uh Bash and poke fun
But I
and
mean, but again, their their contribution to the culture oftentimes is through a negative lens of commentary and or slick
exactly.
jokes under the guise of, oh, we're just poking fun, when really
Hmm.
it's some pretty
Yeah,
malicious intent behind it. So,
yeah, yeah. That's how I feel. You think Compton was like, oh yeah, we fuck with Conan because he said that.
but you know what? I'm just adding this to the list of, okay, Drake is never going to the Oscars now. In addition to NFL games.
Yeah.
But hey, man, Drake, if you listen, brother, that list getting long. You can't ban the world. You're gonna be in Toronto in your own little bubble after a while. I don't think they feel you in Australia no more for canceling the tour. I don't know, man. It's shout out to you though.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
my biggest gripe with the Oscars is the Honora. It won Best Picture. I believe I'm saying it right. Let me make sure real quick because I was utterly disgusted that this movie won uh Best Picture at the Grammys.
Utterly disgusted is very
Is
strong.
Right, my boy said what he said. Sheesh.
Hey man, hey man.
you-
Like I said, I was livid at the foolishness that convoluted our minds over the past.
He said that shit made him ill.
Motherfucker idea.
Nice.
Oh man. Oh,
But
listen.
say I'm okay, but my watch.
Yeah.
And what about the bashing of Prime Time Sanders' son? How about that?
Hold on, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there before let me just
I
speak
saw
my
a tweet that
piece.
said, "Man, the NFL love the fact that Shedeur Sanders don't come from a broken home and they don't have the backstory of him falling in line like a good soldier." I said, "Wow." I said, "Watch they humble him and don't pick him in the first round just
I
to
was
humble him, and
say,
then
you
they're
know
gonna
they
they're gonna create a narrative of saying, yeah, the coaching really helped tone down his arrogance, and yeah, they don't like when you confident and you black and you come from means.
you know,
80.
you know they
You're
waiting
not a
to
poor nigga we could manipulate and exploit.
you know they waiting to play that slow piano music, and his mother was a drug addict, and he's just fought his
T.
way.
Higgins, whose mother didn't want him in his youth, put him up for adoption, and he's just become a great. Like, man, come on, bro. Like,
Oh,
and I
real quick on the Oscars, yes, Honora, um, utterly disgusted that that film won Best Picture over The Brutalist. However, even though I don't support Honora winning Best Picture, I do understand, and for anybody else out there who don't feel like Honora deserved to win, me and my wife was like, well, she was watching the whole thing, but I caught like the tail end of it. Is Honora, from how it was explained to me, is about a dude who fell in love with a prostitute. Um, and it winning Best Picture, what I take from that is unfortunately sex sales. But
shout out to Zoe Saldana though.
yeah, winning Amelia. Yeah.
You was about to say 110%. Watch it, buddy.
But yeah, nah, I gotta watch The Brutalist. Fun fact, when me and the wife went to go watch Oppenheimer, when we walked out of the theater, I was just like, "Yo, that movie is gonna win Best Picture." I believe it won Best Picture, and I knew it was gonna win Best Sound Design, and I hit those nail on the head. I'm just saying, like when I watch a film, I could tell like what's gonna win an Oscar, what's deserving. And Honora, I didn't watch the movie, but I still am pretty sure it wasn't deserving over The Brutalist. But yeah, moving on to Shedeur. um. Yeah, so Josena Anderson, NFL reporter, have posted this tweet saying, I am disappointed to hear that a quarterback's coach from a team drafted in the top seven referred to Shedeur Sanders as coming off as brash and arrogant in his team interview um, and making his assessment. I really wish Josena wouldn't have posted that tweet. I wish she would have just kept it to herself. Uh, because I feel like you put Shedeur in a situation to where it's like when he is drafted, if he is drafted within those top seven teams, now he has to like worry about on his mental, like, is you the fuck nigga who was talking about me before you drafted me type deal, type situation. So I feel like she could have kept it to herself, and that's one less thing Shedeur got to worry about already going into the situation with obviously a million cameras on him and people wanting him to fail and and all that kind of stuff. But she put it out there. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at this draft list, see who these top 7 teams are, and and get on with it, shall we? Top 7 teams. Number one, you have and I thought top 7 was very, very specific, which makes me feel like it was probably the seventh, the seventh to draft. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You don't
But
say top
sometimes,
10, you don't
they
say top
people
5.
people been around the block too, so sometimes you throw them off, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
because it could have been a top 3 team, but it sounds better if we say 7, right? Because
yeah,
you throw them off a bit, you throw them off your path.
yeah. So top 7, you got the Titans at 1, the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, the Patriots at 4, Jaguars at 5, Raiders at 6, and at 7 you have the New York Jets. By process of elimination, assuming they don't trade him, I think
What
we
the
can.
Raiders, Mark Davis loves Shedeur, Tom Brady loves Shedeur, so it wasn't them.
So it wasn't them. Then process of elimination also, unless they trade Trevor Lawrence, I don't think it was the Jaguars because they don't.
Or maybe
They're
it
not.
was, right? Because
They're not
you
looking
do
for a
have a new coach
quarterback.
over there who Duval, right? And it's like
He would be the one to
he
not.
lame as hell to make me think this.
Yeah,
But
yeah. They
one
did.
comment,
They did get
one
rid of
comment I will
Doug.
say just briefly about that, whoever that coach was, I guarantee you if he does miraculously end up in that building, he will end up outlasting whoever that coach was. But he also could end up getting them paid, right? If it
That's
goes
true.
right,
Yeah,
so
I forget dude name. I do know. Obviously, yeah, like you. I forgot that they had fired old Doug Peterson. Um, was it? I don't think the Patriots. I don't think it was the Patriots. Who's their head coach now?
mm,
Is it Mike Vrabel?
it is Vrabel.
I don't think Mike. Well, I mean, we're talking about quarterback coach. We're not talking about head coach.
Just a good old boy. Never meant no harm. It's all you ever saw. Been in trouble with the laws and the day he was born.
Yeah, I don't think it was the Raiders, like you say, the Raiders, or it could have been the Jets, man. It could have been the Jets. Who's the Jets QB coach?
What now? Well, the Jets do got a new brother and head coach. Uh, but you know what? Also, I feel like this is the biggest smear campaign of
Oh,
all time
it,
to pray to God that Shador falls to their team because we all know stuff like this traditionally comes out around this time of the year. It's the worst time of the year for PR for the quarterback. I was literally just watching quarterback out of Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, who I believe has a comparable NFL comparison to Jalen Hurts, who coincidentally he says he models his game after, and I do
from
see a
Ole
lot of that in
Miss.
his game. Yes, sir. Uh, I was watching his highlights on Twitter today, and quite literally, the start of his highlights was his ex girlfriend's TikTok starting out basically spilling the beans on how he had been cheating on her for over a year and a half. And then it gets into Bossman and D-Lo in the background and Jackson Dart just ripping it up, right? So it's just like, even
I like
in a
him.
joking
I
way,
like
right?
him.
The smear campaign is just like you can't avoid it, right? Whether it's people posting highlights or whether it's high media pundits or NFL personnel, trying to run your name through the mud. And a lot of times the NFL media, or in my belief, I believe they collude with these teams in order to maybe drop a person's value in hopes that they can land said player.
For
So
sure. That's a
I try not
tactic.
to take too much value any story come out around time of year. Although I did expect something like this to be said about Shador because nobody likes a confident, black, self-assuring, rich kid who's already coming from memes, and his father is one of the greatest NFL players to ever play. Fuck that. We need you to be just grateful and happy to be here. We don't need you actually, being well off by the time you get here. That means you don't conform to our program and do what we say do and jump how high we tell you to jump because you don't necessarily need us, right? So just a real interesting, very interesting story that was, spun today.
How good y'all think he gonna be in the league?
Man, I really feel like, and I feel like it's gonna just be about the situation, bro. You look at a situation that the Jaden Daniels goes into, and they continuously trying to make moves and acquiring Debo Samuel. So I just think like it's like I think it's about the situation. Like just in terms of obviously the organization, but just like an offensive line, like we've seen Shedeur, fighting for his life, running for his life on the football field at the collegiate level because his, offensive line was never like top tier in any way, shape, or fashion. And so if we get a chance to see him like in a clean pocket, being able to make decisions, going through progressions, and everything isn't forced to rush, I think he could have a really good career. But obviously, if he doesn't have the requisite pieces around him to succeed and they giving him shit hoping that he could turn it into sugar and he struggles, people gonna say that he trash. But it's like, is he trash or is he like not being afforded opportunities to be put into a winning type situation? And so I think going into this season, people who respect the game will look at it from that lens, I believe. But obviously, if you're already going into it with a predetermined perspective on whether or not you support Shedeur or you hate Shedeur, like there's no gray area. Like you're just hoping he either fail or he succeed. But that's my how I feel about the situation. Um, yeah. So yeah.
I think he'll gradually get great. I think he'll start off rocky, but
I
then
think if he
gradually
gets
get great.
drafted to a team with a great defense, he has a chance to be successful really early. I won't say a Tom Brady trajectory in regards to like the 7 championships, but that type of career architect to where maybe you start off as a really good game manager and then you start to rip it up, a little later on in your career, like 4 to 5 years in. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and like also too, like you say, I like the point on being a game manager, Izzo, because like bro, you can get into a good situation again, like you got just a decent play caller, offensive play caller, and you in a situation with like, hey, Shedeur, just don't fuck it up, buddy. Like
right.
we could live with that, like you say, with the complimentary football having a good defense. Like motherfuckers would be singing a different tone. Like they should say 4 or 5 years, gradually getting better. Then he really comfortable. It could be scary hours, you know what I'm saying? And I know they gonna hate him putting up the rollie then. So
And one thing I noticed too, bro, you could be as great as you want to be, man, and people will still find holes to poke in you and bring you down in any kind of way. I was reading a comment. I'm very active in social media comment section, so if you see me there, hey,
holla.
you know, fuck with you, way, But I was reading a comment and it was just like, I don't believe Shedeur is going to be great in the league. I have an undrafted grade on him, undrafted free agent grade. I was like, yeah, I
Shador
didn't.
Sanders?
Yes, I didn't know that he led the FBS in completion percentage as a quarterback, but I just don't think he's going to pan out in the league.
Bro,
Like,
that's
and
a
it's just
bot.
like,
That's a bot, bro.
and I saw somebody, and it was like, you got to be careful about the verified Twitter accounts nowadays because you could just pay for a check and then kind of spew whatever you want to in order to garner ad revenue from X. But it's just like if you look at the list on who's led the FBS and completion percentage, none of those quarterbacks turned out to be anything in the league. So I I, I get where he was coming from, but I just don't see that, man. I definitely see Shador having some success in the league for sure. So people hate, man. They hate you. They'll hate you if you bad and say you suck, you ain't nothing. And then if you good, they say, oh, well, you only good because of this, and your daddy did this, and you ain't that. You know, they'll find a way to hate you. So if they hating on you doing something right, they hated Jesus. I ain't calling him Jesus. Let's right, right. Is he? You shitty? No. I mean,
Yeah, man.
hardy
Uh,
yards.
he say hardy, hardy. Now, out of the uh, out of the top seven running back, excuse me, out of the top seven teams, Charles London, like you say, is a brother. Charles London is the QB coach for the Jets, and I believe, yeah, he's the only black quarterback coach. So would suspect it's him. Then process elimination, getting the Raiders out of here because we know the situation and the relationship that lies there. So yeah. Y'all tell us out of the top seven teams, who do y'all think made these heinous remarks about Shedeur Sanders? Let us know in the comments. And we're getting the breaking news here live, continuing to talk about greatness. LeBron James reaches 50,000 career points, the only player in NBA history to do so. Um, King, we salute you, man. You've been apart from your greatness, man, you've just been a model of consistency of like what respect in the game looks like. I know once you get ready to retire, you're gonna, disappear on us. But Bron, I ask of you, I ask of Clutch, I ask of your production company, uninterrupted. Please, sincerely, from the depths of my heart, I'm asking for myself as well as on the behalf of millions around the world who respect your game. Please
Your
unlock
Respect the Game of podcast deal.
that too.
I thought that's where you was going with it.
Me too.
In addition to us having a future partnership with our podcast, man, sincerely, Brian, hear me. Allow us to see behind the curtains of all the sacrifice, the dedication, the discipline, the 10,000 plus hours it took for you to be who you are. I think that can inspire not just kids today, but generations upon generations. So yeah, please allow us to peek behind the curtain once like the dust settles and you officially retire for us to really be able to see and appreciate the greatness and the sacrifices and the discipline that you had that you put into the game for all these years. Um, but yeah, man. If there's nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call a great episode. This is the Respect the Game podcast. We love you, beautiful people. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching us. Make sure y'all follow us on all social media platforms. And please like this video sincerely. And sincerely also, pretty please hit the subscribe button. We love you, beautiful people. We will see you next week.